And we do want to get back out live what's happening right now on the State House steps, and ABC 6 News reporter Brittany Comack has an update for us live.
Yeah, Alanna, so since we last spoke, Governor Raimondo actually showed up to the State House. And actually, all day, protesters that we spoke with were asking, where is Gina? And she showed up, and to be honest, it seemed like it just made things almost worse. People got very angry. She was trying to spread a message of unity and peace. She was asking protesters to hold hands and pray with her. She promised, she wants to make changes. She's focused on making changes. As we saw this morning, she came out with Black Lives Matter, so she's completely for Black Lives Matter. But it really seemed to agitate people. So she was with General Callahan of the National Guard, and then she kind of walked into the State House probably 20 minutes ago, and it's remained kind of like a stalemate here.
What's going on right now,
Police
Brittany?
are still on the steps, and so right now there's still police on the steps. There's a few protesters kind of inching up towards them, and there's a few protesters still on the lawn. A good chunk of protesters actually went off marching downtown. It looked like they were heading towards City Hall. They kind of said, we're out of here. But there's still a good amount of people here, I'd say. They're just kind of waiting. And it's past curfew at this point.
It is 9:37, Brittany. I don't know if you're good at this or not, but could you give us an estimate maybe of what you think the crowd is like in terms of numbers?
Yeah, I'm actually not great at estimating. I would say there's probably a couple hundred people here still.
I think that's safe to say.
I mean, considering there were about between 7,000 and 9,000 earlier, and that was an insane sight. It looks like there's probably a couple hundred left over right now.
Brittany, we don't have a great shot because it is dark, but the line of protesters that are face to face with police and National Guard, do they look like they are getting into some type of confrontation or conversation? Is it remaining peaceful face to face?
Yeah, the remaining people keep saying to police, take a knee. There was one girl here that wasn't feeling well, and they're yelling, somebody needs insulin, aren't you going to help? Just kind of yelling things at them. Police have kind of stayed silent. No one has really moved on their side. So we're kind of at the same stalemate, like I was saying.
Brittany, have you noticed any change?
It looks like they're trying to...
Have you noticed any changes of boundaries, so to speak? I mean, say the state police or National Guard had a certain step they were standing on. Have they moved towards the crowd, or has the crowd moved towards them? Have you seen any change of boundaries?
The state police are where they have been, right on the top step here at the State House. The protesters were on the pavement off of the steps, but once the governor came, everybody kind of rushed her to hear what she had to say. So now they've kind of remained there, right in front of the police.
Have you gotten any sense, Brittany, of what the protesters are looking for at this point? What do they want from police and National Guard that are on scene?
They just keep asking, they just keep saying, can someone please take a knee? Can you show us some respect? They had a moment of silence for George Floyd earlier.
How did that come about, Brittany? I'm just curious.
I think they're just kind of looking for... Yeah, that was interesting because they were kind of chanting back and forth at the police. And then all of a sudden they said, all right, moment of silence, 8 minutes and 42 seconds for George Floyd, which was the amount of time that the Minneapolis officer, Derek Chauvin, had his knee on George Floyd's neck. And it was pretty eerie for it to be quiet for that long. But since then, police are, they've just been standing here. they want the protesters want some kind of sign that they, disagree with what happened, it looks like.
Have you seen any large vehicles show up? That by large vehicles, I mean state police vans or National Guard vans, where if they were going to arrest a large number of people, they could put them into?
I haven't seen any show up. There have been all night some Humvees and things of that nature kind of blocking off the roads so protesters could march, but nothing has really kind of like shown up like, all right, we're gathering everybody in here.
That's one of the things we noticed on Monday night, that things were taking a turn when Providence police had the paddy wagon show up, and we knew that it was just a matter of moments before they're going to start making arrests. So that's something maybe to keep an eye out for. If you see any large vehicles show up that looks like they could hold a lot of people. Clearly, nobody wants to see it get out of hand, but at some point, are they just going to let this fizzle out organically and let it end and everybody just stands there? Or are the state police and National Guard going to make a move towards them to try to, end the night? I don't know who would make that call. Would the governor make that call? Would the state police colonel make that call? Would General Callahan make that call? Is it a combination of all three of them? It's a very interesting dynamic right now because the protesters, in their minds, are winning. They're 41 minutes past the curfew, and they're not going anywhere soon. And I don't know how important that is.
Yeah,
to the
I'm
state
assuming
police
it's
and
a
to the
combination of the three, since the governor just showed up to the State House. So I'm assuming she's kind of up on the, making
she's
these
definitely,
decisions along with them.
she's definitely up on it. What I'm just saying is that I don't even know if they'll get to the point of tear gas. I know the crowd was saying that they'll shoot tear gas at us if we don't move. Nothing has been said by any official like that. That would really rise at a whole nother level if they went to that level. I can't see that happening, but who knows? As of right now, it's still very peaceful in the sense that nobody's doing anything. They're just standing and milling around.
Correct.
Brittany, I don't know if you can hear from where you are any of the things that people are chanting or yelling, and I did see someone come over a loudspeaker, or a megaphone rather, shouting something. Were you able to hear that at all?
Not quite. They're kind of far from where we're standing, but it's similar, like from what I can gather, it's similar to what was being chanted today. Black Lives Matter, take a knee, we're looking for change, show us some respect. But people are still, no one looks like they're trying to agitate each other. Everyone's just kind of waiting.
Well, it looks like somebody, you can't see
like
this,
we were
Brittany.
saying,
I don't know if you can see this, but somebody's trying to get in the face of, I can't tell if that's state police or National Guard, with a green hat on, a lime green hat.
Yes, I see her. Yeah, so she
looks
there
pretty
she
animated.
goes. Yeah, seems to be yelling. Yeah, she's yelling that's state police. Yeah, she looks pretty upset. There's been a few people going up and down the steps, kind of doing that back and forth, and then it kind of fizzles out again. But like you were saying, does this just fizzle out? Do they just say, all right, we're dispersing this crowd, we're going to arrest everybody? Unclear. But if they hadn't made those announcements earlier this evening, it probably would have dispersed. Everybody was just kind of hanging out.
That's very interesting. You can see the pent-up anger and frustration. These are people who clearly have something they want to say, and to get right in the face of a police officer, state police officer. If this was any other circumstance, that would never happen, because they would arrest the person or move them around or get them out of there, whatever. But these are unbelievable times we're in right now, and I think everyone is showing what they're feeling. I think the state police are doing a great job of showing, hey, we're remaining calm, we don't want this to escalate, and they're sitting there and they're listening to this woman. I don't know how much they're listening to her, but they're certainly seeing what she has to say, and they're close enough they can definitely hear her. Whether they're listening, I don't know. Also, Brittany, just as a matter of perspective, can you see from where you are, I don't know if it's too dark for you, if the trees are in the way, but Francis Street or Gaspee Street, and in the streets of Providence, not on the State House property, but in the streets of Providence, do you see any Providence police officers? Or is that all National Guard?
No, I haven't seen any. It's hard to tell from here, but I have not seen any Providence police officers tonight. We've mostly been at the State House all night. So, and that's state police and National Guard turf. But yeah, looking into the street from where I am, I haven't seen any Providence police officers.
See, now we just got a really great perspective. Who's on the camera for us tonight with you?
Paul Duddy is.
Paul just gave us a great perspective of the different levels of the State House steps, which were packed earlier. And now you can see, as Brittany described, and now we got a much better perspective of all the people that are now moved from that platform up onto the steps of the State House. So you really are talking about just maybe a couple hundred people tops, trying to get their message across, whatever they're trying to say right now to the staties who are standing there in full riot gear. And that was a great comment you had earlier tonight, Brittany, saying Colonel Manny said that riot gear would send the wrong message, and then 45 minutes later, literally, they're in full riot gear.
Yeah, it was extremely confusing. I wasn't even the one that asked that question, and then when I looked over and saw them in riot gear, I said, wait a second. We just had this conversation. I don't understand why this is suddenly escalating, it seems. But, you know, we're still here, and no other announcements have really been made.
Maybe they decided after the 8 o'clock announcement that didn't go so well, and then the governor trying to smooth things over, that didn't go so well. And it looks like now they're in a wait-and-see mode. Very interesting. But this person here with the green hat is still engaged in conversation here with the stadies. I know you can't hear what they're saying, Brittany, but that person is very, very animated.
Yeah, she is.
And we can hear, I think I can hear her yelling, actually. Our microphones are picking it up. I can't make out exactly what she's saying, but clearly the voices are rising. I don't know that the state police are
maybe I can't tell if I can hear someone yelling, but I can't tell if that's her.
Seems to match up with the movements of the body there. But this is interesting, though. Is the helicopter still there, Brittany? Is the helicopter still flying over? Because that was hanging around for a long time.
Yeah, the helicopters are still flying over, which is kind of adding to some of the tension here, honestly, because they're extremely loud.
Are they shooting light down, Brittany? Are they spotlights or anything on the crowd? The helicopters?
No, not that I've seen.
All right, Brittany, thank you. We're going to take a break from you for just a moment, bring it back here in the studio. Very interesting developments, Alanna, as we saw the governor come out, and I don't know if we can roll that, Maddie, the governor trying to calm the peace, if you will, trying to get people to leave. She was not received very well. And again, it's after, well, now we're almost 10 o'clock, coming up on 10 o'clock, and we're 48 minutes into over the curfew, but the governor was trying, to her credit, was trying to get out there and speak. I'm just being told we have ABC 6 News reporter Ellie Romano outside of Providence Place. Ellie, describe for us what you're seeing right now.
John, we came down here because the massive amount of protesters dispersed from the State House and said they were going to City Hall. So we wanted to follow them over there, and they protested down there for a bit and are now heading towards the Dunk Center. We came over here to Providence Place Mall to show you the